It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 11th day of August, 2022. Coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia, Central Virginia area, right near Lynchburg. Of course, the main story this morning, folks, Royal Caribbean dropped some vaccination protocols. That came out late last night. Today is National Foo-Foo Day. I said, what? I mean, I've often said, who writes these things? National Foo-Foo Day. I thought, are they talking about dogs? I don't know. What are they talking about? Actually, it's a West African dish, fufu. Didn't know that. It's dipped in sauces or paired with stews. If you know where to get fufu, or you have, for some reason, a recipe for fufu, try it today, I guess. I don't think there's any fufu in Forest, Virginia, but I could be wrong. All right, headlines today, other than, of course, Royal Caribbean, that's the main one. Virgin Voyages shortens port times. Verifly hits a major milestone. Unfortunately, no bargains for Norwegian. Golden Horizon for sale. Princess Cancellations from Skagway. Visit Ukraine now, and much more live here at 11 o'clock. If you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. All the big guys, just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and bingo, up pops the fat travel guy. And also in the description for your podcast, if you ever want to hop over to the video feed for when I show pictures or video clips or any of those kind of things, and you want to check out the video feed, there's always a link in the description for the podcast. So, all right. I have some personal news this morning before we get to the news, before we get to a bunch of things. Those of you, and again, folks, some of you are very new to this broadcast and don't know my history that well, but this is mainly aimed at most of the guys that have followed me for some time. Know that my upcoming cruise with Hot Air Tom and Cindy on Norwegian Sky, I was flying to Miami. And unfortunately, through a bunch of things that were beyond my control, I ended up, basically, I had to book on the day of the cruise, one of the things that I scream about, never to do. And I decided just to go on and try it and hope for the best until yesterday, finally. And I've been tortured by that decision, folks. Tortured because it's not what I recommend. And then with all the problems with airlines recently, you know, I've really been thinking hard about that. A tightwad that I didn't want to lose the money, because this was like the fourth time that flights had been canceled and rolled over through Expedia and American. But then yesterday, I listened to my buddies, Jordan, the JJ Cruise, and the trouble that those two had getting from Chicago to New York to sail away from Bayonne. They went 2 days early, and through things that were totally beyond their control, ended up getting there just less than 24 hours before they sailed. I said, oh, wait a minute. So I made a decision last night. Even if I lose all the money, I'm canceling the flight. I'm going to drive. I go to my oncologist on the Thursday. What's that? The 18th. Yeah, the 18th. In the afternoon, that's the biggie. I do all the testing again, the blood work again. They look at my liver. It's also the day I get the next Lupron injection. I had a reaction last time. I hope that this time I won't. But hopefully I will also have some results of this new $11,000 a month medication. Anyway, that's going to be Thursday afternoon, so I can't get out of here before really early. But I can get out of here at like 4 o'clock in the morning Friday. That would be the 19th. I get into Miami on the evening of the 20th, the day before the cruise, and I sail on the 21st. I called the same hotel that I stayed at last time. I got a terrific deal considering a hotel room in Miami on a Saturday night, parking for my vehicle for the week, and shuttle back and forth to the port. It was just, I couldn't pass it up. So I grabbed that. I'm still going through all the cancellation stuff. So I got my parking at Raleigh taken care of. I'm still dealing with American and Expedia, but I'll work on that some more today. So if I lose the money, I lose money. I don't care. I'm going to drive again. You know, I've been more comfortable driving than anything that I've done to get to cruises, including airplanes, trains. I haven't done a bus yet. No, thank you. But I've done the best driving. So whenever I can, that's going to be my preferred method of travel before a cruise. So this is going to eliminate that whole possibility of me being late and, not getting there on time. So that's what's going to happen. Now, also, there's a possibility that maybe I can make to Jacksonville, and I'll be doing the show on the road on that Friday on the 19th. So, that's always suspect, but, I got to find a McDonald's or someplace with a good Wi-Fi signal, which normally I can do. Possibility of getting to Jacksonville dinner time-ish if I push hard. Not that I'm going to suggest anything, Nikki and Roger, but there's a possibility I could be in Jacksonville. I thought the last time I could have gotten there in time for dinner, but we'll see. Possibility then getting into Miami in time to, go search out Hot Air Tom and Cindy and maybe go to dinner with them someplace. Those things are now all on the table. And then, of course, I get on Norwegian Sky on the 21st. And I'll be doing live streaming and so forth from them. Now, yesterday, several of you asked about Elizabeth on location. And quite frankly, I had not heard from her for some time. I talked to her about a week or so ago. No, right after the New York Times thing came out. That's when I last had a response from her. And during the night last night, I got a video clip from her from Belize. So I thought I'll stick that up there. So some of you do know that Elizabeth on location is still alive And try not to laugh at this one. You know, she is escorting a bunch of people from the boat to go do their shopping things and visit places in Belize.
So yeah, these are my passengers. They're not shopping. They'd rather get in that queue to get on the ship. Look at that. Bloody hell. Oh my God. This guy just gave up, man. He's like, I'm just gonna walk around in the rain. God. Why would you stand in that rain? What's the point?
So Elizabeth on location is alive and well. Notice that she is not standing in the rain to film that. And that was her people over there walking in the rain to go shopping, I guess. I don't know. All right. Because of all the nuttiness this morning and getting the stories updated and last minute stories breaking, I did not have a chance to get some pictures loaded from Rochelle, who was in one of the smaller Greek ports today. I will do that for tomorrow, I promise. So I'll be back with today's news right after a word from one of our network sponsors. All right, the main story broke last night. I'm sure by now most of you are aware of this, but obviously it's a story that I have to cover. As of last evening, the following changes have been made for Royal Caribbean cruises and for Celebrity cruises. As of the last information I had this morning, Silver Sea has not yet changed their website. But for Royal Caribbean, starting from September 5th departures, all travelers, regardless of vaccination status, can cruise on the following itineraries, folks. This isn't everybody. As long as they have met any testing requirements to board. Cruises from Los Angeles, cruises from Galveston, cruises from New Orleans, and cruises from a European home port. Currently, only guests that show a valid vaccination record can get off the ship in Grand Cayman. Vaccination requirements remain in place until further notice for any home port not mentioned above. For Celebrity cruises beginning September the 5th, all travelers, regardless of vaccination status, can now cruise on voyages departing from Los Angeles or Europe, except for sailings from Iceland, as long as they meet the testing requirements. For cruises out of Galveston and New Orleans that visit Grand Cayman, only passengers that show a valid vaccination record can go ashore. When it comes to the select European cruises, unvaccinated guests will have to take a test on board to be allowed ashore in Greece or Spain. Not that this is not going to be confusing, folks. I promise you it is still, but guests will still need to follow pre-cruise testing requirements for departures 5 nights or less out of Los Angeles. Galveston, unvaccinated guests ages 2 and over must show a negative test result to sail. Vaccinated guests, regardless of the age, no longer need to test for shorter sailings. Only short sailings, less than 6 nights. When it comes to cruises that are 6 nights or more, All guests aged 2 and over must present a negative test result taken within 3 days before departure. This can be a PCR or antigen test supervised in person or by a telehealth professional. Testing requirements for sailings in Europe are unchanged. Royal Caribbean is finalizing the testing for departures out of New Orleans. Now, what's notably missing, obviously, are Eastern Caribbean cruises and those that sail to the Bahamas that require passengers 12 and over to be fully vaccinated to enter the port. This also includes the private islands, such as Perfect Day at Coco Cay, since we're talking about Royal Caribbean. The cruise line is working with the ports, with the Bahamas, with other countries, and says it will share information to travel agents and guests as it becomes available. So, Norwegian started it. Royal Caribbean followed up. So the vaccination status is changing for some, not for all. A little bit confusing. The bottom line, folks, is if you're involved in any of those or any of the others, stay in touch with either the cruise line or your cruise professional, because things could change at a minute's notice. It might be changed now, as far as I know. And I've been online with folks all morning. So anyway, you got to stay on top of it, folks. Things are quickly going back to a more normal rate. I just hope that this works for the cruise industry and for all of us that are cruising currently, even if we don't agree with this. And I'm just saying my position, not preaching. Okay, Virgin Voyages. Virgin Voyages has adjusted port times for more than 10 different ports of call, as well as embarkation timing for sailings from its new terminal in Miami. All changes take effect for sailings starting this weekend, August the 14th. These changes are planned to impact all Virgin Voyages sailings for the rest of 2022. Scarlet Lady, and when she arrives in Florida in October, Valiant Lady, will now leave at 6 p.m. rather than the later departure of 7 p.m., as has been previously scheduled. This means all guests must arrive at the terminal no later than 5 p.m. on embarkation day. So, you got to be there an hour earlier than you may have originally planned. Details of the changes, according to the specific Scarlet Lady Caribbean itineraries, are as follows. And this one, you guys that have booked these are more familiar with it than I am. 4-night fire and sunset soirees, departing from Key West at 5 p.m., not 7 p.m. On the 5-night Mayan Sol, leaving Costa Maya at 6 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. 5-night Riviera Maya, departing Cozumel at 8, not 10. 5-night Dominican Days, arriving in Puerto Plata at 10 instead of 9 a.m. and departing at 7 p.m. instead of 6 p.m. The 8-night Eastern Caribbean Antilles cruise, arriving in Puerto Plata at 10, leaving at 7, arriving in San Juan at 12, departing at 10, departing from Frankenstead at 6 instead of 7. The 6-night Western Caribbean, leaving Roatan at 7 instead of 8, Costa Maya at 6 instead of 7. All Caribbean sailings that visit Bimini will also have that port of call shortened by an hour, leaving at 7 instead of 8. There are similar changes to the Valiant Lady in the Mediterranean for you guys on the other side of the pond. The 7-night French days in Ibiza nights, leaving Olbia at 5 instead of 6. The 7-night Spanish Obsession, departing Gibraltar at 6 instead of 8. The 7-night Irresistible Med, arriving at Toulon at 9 a.m. instead of 8:30, and departing from Ajaccio and the Cagliari at 5, not 6. All Mediterranean sailings which visit to Ibiza will depart 2 hours earlier than scheduled at 4 rather than 6. Virgin Voyages not offered any details as to why all these changes. You know, who knows? It's their first year. You got to give them a little bit of slack on this one, folks. Also, keep in mind that because they're new, they've been doing a lot of surveying folks that have been on board, looking for good and bad comments. Very highly probable that a lot of these comments may have come from some of the feedback they've gotten from people that have sailed. Looking at those later departures from a lot of cruise ports, I don't know about you. I have never waited to right up the last minute to get back on the ship. Maybe it's because I don't do as many excursions as some of you guys do. I'm normally later getting off the ship because of doing my show. And quite often when I do things on my own, like go to a local restaurant or a bar, I might have lunch and a few cocktails and sit around and talk to folks. And then I go back on board the ship. Well, then that, you know, if you don't sail until 7 or 8 o'clock that evening, you know, that's 5 or 6 hours on board the ship that while certain things are open, a lot of the bars aren't open. The casino's not open. Some of the restaurants aren't open when they're in port. There's a lot of things that people get back on board. Maybe they did a morning excursion and they're done and get back on the ship. Or like Elizabeth, it's raining. And people said, man, I'm not going to walk around in the rain. Let me get back on board. And they got all day with none of that stuff's open. I don't know. A lot of things could have fallen into that. And maybe it's just that, you know, they tried something, they liked it better with cutting times. I don't think it's because of anything to do with the ships. I think it just has to do with them hoping to keep passengers happier. That's just my interpretation. If any of you use Verifly, I have not, because I have not been on a Carnival ship yet. I am registered with Verifly. When the time comes on my next, unless something major happens, my next Carnival cruise that I have scheduled currently is the Carnival Paradise with Cindy and gang. There's always a possibility of me jumping on, you know, a bargain, which I'm looking for bargains like I did, you know, another cruise. But anyway, if I get a bargain, I might jump on one quicker. But let's say that I don't, so I won't get to use this myself until Carnival Paradise, which is in November. But since the Secure Health Data app, Verifly, was first implemented by Carnival in January, more than 1 million guests have now taken advantage of the fast, convenient way to enter pre-cruise health screening information for a smoother embarkation experience. Less than 8 months after being voluntarily introduced on a single ship, the Verifly app has now been used by more than 1 million Carnival Cruise Line guests and is available on all the cruise line's U.S. home ports and for all of the fleet's vessels. After being hugely successful on the Mardi Gras, the app was quickly rolled out to the entire fleet. The app verifies that a traveler's pre-cruise health test matches the ship's and home port requirements and displays a simple pass or fail message. This alerts the guest to any discrepancies in the screening, allowing time for corrections or retesting before arriving at the cruise port. Once at the terminal, guests can present Verifly rather than shuffling papers around to confirm their health screening. In addition to Carnival, Verifly is also used by Holland America, Seabourn, Viking, as well as several airlines, resort, and hotel chains. All right, we got to talk a little bit about Norwegian today as well. Norwegian Cruise Line's CEO and President Frank Del Rio has made it clear that he's not interested in filling up ships that will, as he calls it, devalue his brands. The comment from the CEO of the third largest cruise company in the United States is a significant step away from what competition has been doing recently. Focusing on creating a long-term strategy of offering steady pricing and competitive onboard environment is the way forward, Del Rio said in his second quarter earnings call. Norwegian will not be sacrificing profitability on the long run for a short-term effect. This is why guests sailing on board Norwegian ships will likely not see discounted cruising, paying up to 20% more than comparable cruise in 2019. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings has been sailing at around 65% occupancy level, but filling up the ships at all costs is not something Del Rio will consider. Basically what he's saying, Norwegian's not going to lower prices just to fill up the ships. We're seeing other cruise lines, i.e. Carnival, Royal Caribbean, doing just that. There are bargains out there if you carefully shop, especially if you can jump on a cruise quickly. So I feel kind of bad toward Norwegian right now because, I might also want to book on Norwegian on a bargain. There's still people out there like Vacations to Go that book enough cruises that they can control pricing specifically to them, that are saying, we still have some bargains, but boy, you have to really shop carefully to find one. All right, my buddy Dave Monk. We talk about Dave Monk quite often on this show. My buddy Dave Monk was keeping us up to date on the tallest ship in the world, the Golden Horizon. It's now for sale for the cool price of 100 million pounds. Of course, Dave's over there on the other side of the pond, so he thinks in terms of pounds, not in terms of dollars. I have no idea what 100 million. I never can remember the conversion factor. It's a lot of money. How's that? Brutus Split, the Croatian yard that built the square rigger, confirmed that they confirmed it and then later issued a clarification saying that selling the ship was one of the options it is considering. The square rigger had been listed on a website at the price of £118 million. The future of the vessel, operated by Tradewind Voyages in the UK, has been in doubt since sanctions were imposed on the Russian-owned bank that lent Brutus split money for Golden Horizon and another ship. Tradewind Voyages was forced to take cruises off sale and canceled sailings until October. Golden Horizon has had a troubled past marked by legal disputes and financial difficulties. Star Clippers, which originally ordered the ship as a flying clipper back in 2015, said it had no comment to make involved with this latest development. For more information on the Golden Horizon, you can go to Dave's blog, Shipmonk, and down in this article, the article on the Golden Horizon, he's got a link which will take you to a full history of everything that's happened to the Golden Horizon. We've talked about her on this channel about 5 or 6 times in the past. So, again, thanks to my buddy Dave Monk for providing the information. All right, Princess Cruises, just 2 months remaining in the Alaska sailing season. Princess Cruising is removing Skagway from 10 upcoming itineraries. This is due to the closure of the forward berth of the White Pass Railroad dock, the only viable docking position for cruise line's Royal class vessels, the largest ships in the Princess Cruises fleet. Rather than calling on Skagway, each cruise will instead substitute a different Alaska port of call. Impacted cruises include the Majestic Princess, August 23rd and September 6th sailing dates, which will call on Icy Strait Point. The line's newest ship, Discovery Princess, August 25th and September 1st cruise date, will also call on Icy Strait Point rather than Skagway. Royal Princess will now visit Haines instead of Skagway for the August 16th and August 30th sailings. Discovery Princess will visit Skagway on cruises setting sail on August 11th, September 8th, and September 22nd, and Royal Princess setting sail on September 13th. These itinerary adjustments have been improvised based on sailing dates, port schedule, and other ports of call on each itinerary and give guests the best possible experience for their Alaska adventures. And quite frankly, folks, there's probably going to be more changes to Princess and other people on the situation in Skagway. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot, especially on the larger ships, somebody says, well, why can't you tender it in? There's maybe up to 4,000 people on these ships, and you try to tender them in. It takes time, not only getting them in, but then you can't, until everybody gets tendered in, the excursions can't go off as scheduled. And then they got to get them back on board ship on schedule. And it's just with limited room to start with. Just tendering from these bigger ships isn't going to work. Might work from a smaller ship, but wow. So the folks in Skagway are just going to kind of get shuffled out of things here, I'm afraid. All right, this one I saw. This folks is specifically for Hot Air Tom. Hot Air Tom, who does a lot of things that we all think is totally nuts. Visiting Ukraine now is an experience, and they want you to experience what it's like living in the middle of a war, see its bombed cities, feel the danger, and meet its fighters. Now, I wouldn't think any of that would be on anybody's travel list, but 6 months after Russia invaded Ukraine, unleashing a wave of death and destruction, one organization is inviting tourists to come. Online platform Visit Ukraine Today last month launched guided day tours of the so-called brave cities that have defied and continue to resist Russian invaders, offering travelers a look at how the country is living amid conflict. Set off on a journey to awesome Ukraine right now, the tour company's website implores. Despite international alerts warning against travel to the Ukraine, the company says it so far has sold 150 tickets. While its website offering information on safely traveling to and from UK is receiving 1.5 million hits a month, up 50% from pre-invasion numbers. It says anyone signing up for tours can expect walks along bombed debris, ruined buildings, cathedrals, and stadiums, as well as burned out military hardware, plus the regular wail of air raid signs, sirens, landmines are also a risk. Now, Hot Air Tom, have you booked this yet? I mean, you go up in hot air balloons, you probably jump out of airplanes, you go cliff diving from God only knows places, you go swimming in caves, you do all kinds of craziness. I'm sure you're going to figure out a way on a cruise someplace to go visit the Ukraine in the middle of the war. That's our Hot Air Tom. Okay, that's the news for today, folks. I'm sorry, I had to put that in. Let's go jump in the chat room, see who's fussing at me today. Oh, well, looky there, Hot Air Tom's with us. Sitting at the table, working at my laptop with a view of the Atlantic from Port Canaveral. I might show your view. I didn't, Tom. It's been such a nutty day. I'll do that again tomorrow with Rochelle stuff as well. I saw it and I ran out of time today with everything going on in my life right now. So anyway, also I'm getting a heating system. Hopefully it'll be in today for the pool so I can keep my pool open into the fall and earlier in the spring. So anyway, Mike's with us. Hi, Mike. Hot Air says, that was strange. Program started with no intro and Chillie was already talking. It did? Not from my end. I don't know. I'll have to check that when I get off the show. I didn't wasn't aware of it from this end. It seemed like everything was right from my end. Ken is with us. Good morning, everybody. Nikki's here. Good morning, Chillie and gang. Jason, I fly the day of the cruise almost every time, never missed one. Okay, see there, folks. That's why I did it. Well, that wasn't the only reason, but I know Jason goes on the day of the cruise all the time. I just, I've tried to get away from that. And now with the problems with all the cancellations and stuff, and I know they tell you if you're flying early in the morning, you're more likely to get your plane than if you're flying later in the day. Well, so I can make the cruise on time and then try to fly home and be canceled out and stuck in Miami after the cruise. Anyway, I made that decision. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drive. I, for one, don't mind driving. I enjoy that. I'm more comfortable driving a couple days than I am getting on a damn airplane for a couple hours. That's me and my body. Hot Air says, I have a view of the parasail offshore. Hot Air Tom, what are you drinking? Smash the like button for Charles. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, everybody smash that like button. I do appreciate that. Lizzie's with us. Hi, gang. Jason, would you believe, that's supposed to be believe, Jason, lemonade Crystal Light. That's what Hot Air Tom is drinking this morning. All right, here we go. We got the report. Breeze flight last night was terrific. Very nice. Very comfortable seat. It was their nicest seat, which is a first class, $240 for two people one way. That included 2 check bags each, Airbus 220. All right, that's good to know. And actually, for a first class rate, that's pretty cheap. The seat had the largest recline, was such that the seat moved front as and back, went reclined to keep the person behind from being squeezed. Oh, I see. Okay, so so you could move the seat around, so you didn't kill the person behind. Kenneth says, hey, Chillie, have you heard anything on Carnival's cruise? Are they expecting any tests, or is it the one we got before? I don't know if I could use that at-home test or not, or if I have to be to the good. Which cruise are you talking about, Kenneth? You got to remind me of when you go to Bermuda. I'm thinking, and Carnival has not done any changes at this point other than what they had. And they said that Canada, Bermuda, I think was the last thing I had from Carnival on short cruises, not long cruises. So I'm thinking you still have to test. And yes, to my knowledge, it has to be the proctored test. I could be wrong on that, Kenneth. I have to go back and because I've gone since Carnivals. I went through MSC, then I went through Norwegian, their changes. Now Royal Caribbean changing again. I can't keep them all straight either without notes. Nikki says, good decision. Keep us posted. If not this time, we'll see you next time. Well, as there's a good possibility. Maybe, Nikki, we could plan for something, like maybe a 6:30-ish dinner. And then 6:30 or 7 even, a late dinner. If y'all don't mind going late, eat a snack or something if you're used to eating early, like I am normally. That would assure me getting there. And I should know during the day if I have any problems. I will definitely know by the show that morning, if anything's going on, or if I'm running behind schedule, or if I'm running way ahead of schedule, or where I'm on, from here to Jacksonville, that's a long haul for one day for me. But I'm pretty sure I can do it. And let's count on it. But anyway, we'll text on that one. Lizzie Lou says, oh my God, Jason, that looks like fun. I assume you're talking about the Ukraine. Katie says, so glad you decided to drive. I watched the JJ cruise disaster and thought of you. That's what actually turned me around. When I saw what Jordan and Jared went through, I said, well, I got to get off that damn plane, off that flight. So, did Elizabeth give them pina coladas for the song? I don't, probably not, knowing Elizabeth, but let them get wet and go shopping at Diamonds Forever or whatever. She doesn't send people to Diamonds Forever, but anyway, she actually has real honest to God merchants that a lot of these people go to. News flash: the Victory Casino boat is departing, and in my view, that's up there in Port Canaveral. Again, I will share some pictures from Hot Air Tom tomorrow. Oh yeah, wait, tomorrow. Yeah. Hopefully there won't be a problem tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning at 8:00, I have a urology appointment. I should be out of there by 9 and easily home by 9:30, which gives me plenty of time before the show at 11. But if something happens, I'm counting on being home in time for the show. Just to let everybody know, I do have a doctor's appointment in the morning, but it's early enough that I should be back home in time. Jason says, jump on that Hot Air and win some money to donate to Chillie. Yeah, get on that Victory Casino, win some money, stick it in my account. And I don't know if, again, I might get another credit from America. I don't know. I was told once before it was use it or lose it, and I have a feeling that I'm going to lose it. So be it. Not even sure the amount anymore. It's been washed so many times, but we'll see. Hot Air says, Katie, we arrived here about 3:40 this morning. Wow, that wrecked your sleep. Of course, you don't sleep anyway. Cindy, on the other hand, is allowed to be still in bed in Hot Air, up roaming around, running his business from down there. Hot Air said our plane originated in San Francisco, was a bit late arriving in Richmond. They did an excellent job clearing the plane, cleaning and boarding us. We only departed the gate about 20 minutes late. Wow. Arrived in Tampa about 5 minutes late. Not bad. Under those circumstances, not bad at all. First class flight. Yes, it was a first class flight, Jason. So. And Jason wants to know, do you fly first class? A lot, Hot Air. Got to budget at midnight and no paperwork in the fast pass kiosk. Go to agent, and first thing he says was they have no cars. Was he being funny? Don't know. Yeah, well, that kind of stinks. Nikki says, sound like an adventure and travel. Glad it worked out. Hot Air says he found a vehicle for us anyway. We booked a small SUV and got a Toyota 4Runner, which is huge, about the size of a Suburban. Well, that's, that easily gets all your stuff in. Jason, it was cheaper to get first class than pay for the luggage with economy. Yeah, I can almost see that. Jason says, I believe that. Cindy would kill me if I waited till the last minute. A very nervous Nellie. No offense, Nikki. Did you hear about the restaurant in Mykonos, Greece, that is scamming people, charging $500 for 2 drinks and oysters? It's called DK Oyster. Avoid it if you were ever there. Jason says, I used Verifly on my last cruise. It was easy to set up. Yeah, like I say, I registered with it. Obviously, I can't do anything with it yet, but I haven't checked back on it for several months now. Now I'm getting closer. Maybe I can get one and start on it. I got to look at that one again. Hot Air says what FDR doesn't know will not hurt him. I suspect there are many promotions. Oh, that's Frank Del Rio. I suspect there are many promotions to discount the base fare. Yeah, it's just that, he's not going to do anything from the cruise line. Yeah, be aware of any place that does not list prices on the menu. That's a good travel tip, Hot Air. Make sure that you're in a place that has a menu no matter where you're sailing in the world. That's good policy. It's the tallest masted ship in the world, Jason. Not the tallest ship, the tallest masted ship. Here we go. Mike says $122 million is roughly 100 million pounds. Okay, so $122 million, that's what is going to go on Hot Air Tom's credit card when he buys the Golden Horizon. That has to be a joke. No, I could see it costing. Those ships are expensive. And remember, not only is it, what is it, 4-masted schooner, but it holds like a couple hundred passengers. So there's cabins and there's dining rooms and there's all that you don't see from. It's a good sized ship. It's a big ship. Hot Air says my Pride of America cruise is still in jeopardy. NCL is saying they expect the ship to have staff shortages through the end of the year. Max capacity will stay at 40%. Wow. But apparently they were selling to 55%, so cancellations are forthcoming. No, Hot Air says, that no has to be to the Ukraine thing. Hot Air says no to that one. My crazy tour for 2023 is on a Baltic stop in Lithuania, going to a Russian nuclear missile site. Elizabeth. Hot Air Tom, you're nuts. Absolutely nuts. Evil grin. Can I push the button? The intro isn't necessary. Hot Air Tom. I have to look now to see, did that really happen? I don't know. Did anybody else notice that? Looks like I could sail out of Charleston on breeze. Breeze does not sail. You could fly out of Charleston to cruise. Jason says, you know what I mean, Hot Air. There is a Carnival breeze, by the way. Yes, there is. Should sue the airline for use of the name. Good point. Cindy is up in time to listen. Okay, Cindy. Sorry you went to bed really late last night. Jason usually flies economy, although we have business class on Qatar from Dulles to Cape Town in January. 122 million, no problem with a black card. There you go, Nikki. You and Roger can buy this sucker, bring it to Jacksonville, and call Governor, what's his name down there, and see what it costs to get the license tags for it. Florida license tags on the Golden Horizon, so you can sail under the bridge. I love that bridge. I really do. Okay, guys, that's going to wrap me up today. If you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. Again, this has been a really good week for me. I keep going. I keep growing. It's 3% or so per day, which is wonderful for me. I've gone past 150,000 subscribers on Twitter. I think this morning I was up to 156 or something like that. 156,000. So yeah, a big, big milestones for the channel this week. If you're new, we always appreciate the thumbs up, like Jason says earlier in the chat room. And feel free at any time to jump into the chat room and say hello to these folks. They always will answer you back. And please feel free to join us again tomorrow for Travel and Cruise Industry News. We do this 5 days a week at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then again on the weekends, depending on news and what happens, I'm liable to go live on Saturday or Sunday at 11 or anytime when a big story breaks. So that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. As always, this is the old fat travel guy. Stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. For now, this is the old fat travel guy. See you tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, so if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.